Good morning, congregants from the UU Fellowship of Durango, Colorado. My name is Roy King, and I am thrilled that Reverend Katie invited me to give a short reflection on the song Yonder Come. Reverend Katie and I go back to when I was an intern, and she was my mentor and basically taught me everything I know about church work in Hayward 8 years ago. And now I'm living in Arcata, and fortunately we do have blue skies. You can probably see that in the back. It's been pretty smoky and reddish and orange and crazy here because of the wildfires, but we had a little rain and it's cleared up. So this is the 250th year anniversary of John Mary's landing in New Jersey, at Good Luck, New Jersey, and preaching his sermon on universalism. And I thought that through my reflection, I could maybe interweave, my fundamental heartfelt belief in universalism, the essential goodness of all humankind, and the song Yonder Come. And it kind of goes back to my ancestors. I come from an African-American family, African-American tradition from Georgia. And on my mom's side, my great grandfather, John Wesley Holloway, was a poet, an African-American poet who in the early 1900s was the first poet to write in dialect. African-American dialect. And he was fascinated with languages. He was a Congregationalist minister in Georgia, which was kind of unheard of at the time, as well as a biblical scholar. And he would teach languages like Greek and Hebrew, throughout the country in areas where he lived. But his main fascination was with African-American languages, and that's why he wrote in dialect. He came from, his ancestors came from Georgia, near the coast of Georgia. His grandmother, Cherry Thrash, was a root doctor who was born in Cape Fear and must have learned from the indigenous people there about root medicine. There was a kind of an amalgam of African American and Native American herbal traditions. So, great grandfather John Wesley Holloway would take his family to the coast of Georgia, to the Sea Islands, from where this song originated, and basically study the language of the people there and incorporate that into his poetry. And my grandfather would tell us when I was a little kid about these stories and about the culture of the Sea Islands. It was an incredibly cosmopolitan place, if we understand cosmopolitan being a mixture of different cultures. What we know historically is that slaves were brought to Georgia to develop rice plantations, and because there was a lot of malaria there, and that people from Africa were somewhat resistant to malaria, it was very much populated by African American slaves who escaped, many of whom escaped and went to the islands off of the coast of Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina, and created their own hybrid culture. Hybrid meaning in terms of, all the different areas of West Africa, from Congo to Sierra Leone to Senegal. The language incorporated a lot of the words, and there was a particular Creole language created called Gullah Geechee, which was the language my great-grandfather was interested in. And so when I think about that culture, and I think about today, and John Murray and his arrival in New Jersey, and the content of the song, the sun is rising in my soul. It gives me it's almost like a paean to universalism. If the sun, which is in each of our souls, is rising, we are all interconnected in that way, and in that kind of almost mysterious way across the globe. And so, a natural corollary is that no one is cursed, no one is going to be condemned, given that God is good, or the universe is good. Universal energy is love and goodness. And so that song does resonate for me. It resonates for me because of my ancestors, because of my great grandfather's interest in languages, because of his grandmother's practice as a root doctor. It kind of brings things together, and I think it's a signal for our time too, as well. I mean, we're kind of in a divided state in America for a variety of reasons, and personally, I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is an important shift in consciousness, and it's more about the universality of consciousness and respect of everybody, no matter how oppressed we've been in the history of the world. And so it does harken back to the sun rising in each of our souls. So thank you very much, Lashana Tova, given the wonderfulness of the Jewish New Year, and hope you have a great day in Durango. Take care. Bye.